we're going to talk about our enclosure types. Whoa. Awesome. Cool. So we're going to talk about our enclosure types here. First, we're going to talk about a DAE, a disk array enclosure. And that disk array enclosure is where our physical disks are on the Clarion. Now, two things. One is that the disks are numbered 0 through 14. So disks are numbered 0 to 14. So there's 15 total disks within a disk array enclosure. Second, those disks can either be fiber channel disks or ATA. Now, we're going to talk about the storage processor enclosure, the SPE. And the storage processor enclosure is your storage processors, SPA and SPB. And the storage processor enclosures are where your cache is written to, your reads come from. It also holds your front and back end bus. And now we're going to talk about some of the back end bus that we see here within our storage processors and then our disk array enclosures. The first storage processor that we're looking at here has a single back end bus coming out of the storage processor. And what this allows us to do is give us throughput for sending data to disks and reading data from disks. So that's our single back-end bus. In this Clarion here, you see that we have 3 enclosures. Now let's talk about addressing the enclosures. First, we're going to address them by their bus number. The first enclosure here on this bus is bus 0. Remember, in a Clarion or in our Clarion EMC world, all our numbers start with 0. So this would be our bus 0, and then our enclosure is next within the addressing, and that would be our enclosure 0. From there we'd have one more number within this, and it would be our disk number that is on the enclosure. And I'm going to talk about this first enclosure for a moment. This is where our vault drives are. 0 through 4. The first 5 disks on our first enclosure holds our vault drives. And we're going to get further into our vault drives on the next page. So, the next disk array enclosure on the bus is going to be labeled as 0 underscore 1 underscore, and then a disk number which is on this disk array enclosure on this somewhere. So we'll go to our last one in this Clarion, 0 underscore 2 underscore, and this is where we're seeing a physical disk here on this DAE, and that's going to be 13. So we're looking at 0 underscore 0 bus 0 enclosure 2 disk 13, and that's how we'd recognize that address for that physical disk within this enclosure on this bus. Now, this being a single bus enclosure, we're going to see that we have a CX300 and a CX310 down here, and that is a single bus enclosure. And both of those hold a number of 60 total disks on the enclosure. So, on the disk array. Now, let's go ahead and talk about a dual back-end bus. I'm going to check the time real quick. We're at 5 minutes. I'm going to cut this one off and then we'll go to the second bus.